Also tonight, joined by Abel Maldonado, former Lieutenant Governor of California. So we've got all bases covered, and we are continuing to watch the live shots there across Los Angeles as protesters are rallying. But just before we took that break, Marianne was making the point as to the criminal records of those who have been detained. And I've just been checking the Immigration and Customs Enforcement website, and they were saying that up until April, they say that they had detained around just under 70,000 illegal, as they describe them, illegal aliens, and that 3 in 4 arrests were criminal illegal aliens, basically suggesting that they were doing their job properly, Joe. But we know that since then there are schools across Los Angeles, including, I'm thinking of one in particular, called Torrance Elementary School, where their 9-year-old pupil has gone missing, apparently detained with his parents. Kids aren't criminals. Is this right?
Kesha, just one thing. With respect to the law, I mean, I due respect to Marianne, she's absolutely wrong, okay? The law says, as far as who can order the National Guard, it says orders by the president to activate the National Guard should be issued through the governor. It doesn't say with the governor's permission or that a governor can veto it, and it's a federal law. What would be the point of having a federal law if the state governor can override it? So it doesn't make any sense. Bookmark this episode of the show. In 2 weeks, when that is thrown out, I'll say I told you so. As far as what is right, look, we're really kind of moving the bar here, right? I mean, a basic tenet of being a prosecutor is that you have prosecutorial discretion and you have limited resources. So of course you're going to focus on murderers and rapists more than you're going to focus on shoplifters and nonviolent white-collar criminals. But it doesn't change the fact that they're all criminals. And to say that there's this new standard now that if an illegal alien also has to have committed a crime, that's not accurate. So we can prioritize those deportations, but the fact is they've all committed a crime by being here illegally. And yes, there are plenty of stories that will be very sympathetic, including children. But if a parent commits a crime, you put them in jail, right? You separate them from the child, as sad as that is. So what's the difference here? So yes, there's plenty of sympathy out there, and I have sympathy. But if we keep changing the standard here that it's got to be an illegal alien who has also committed another crime, that's just not true.
Okay, Marianne, we have to give you a right of reply there.
Yeah, loud and clear. Just let's get Joe back in here, because Joe, I just wonder, when you're looking at what is happening on the ground across Los Angeles, and there's potential, some critics are saying that this can potentially happen in other states. Gavin Newsom himself is saying that if it's happening in his state, it can happen in other states. Is that the direction of travel for the United States as a whole?
Well, I mean, let's hope not. But again, as Lieutenant Governor Maldonado said very succinctly, I mean, California is especially run poorly in this regard, so it's unlikely to happen in other states. And if it did, most likely, much more common sense governors and mayors would welcome the assistance of the federal government, because that's what they're there for. So it's only difficult, one, because California has let itself get so overrun, and then two, Governor Newsom, instead of actually kind of putting his head together with Donald Trump and say, let's get a solution, he's going to court to fight him over it. So it's doubly silly. So, again, I think you'll see some states that are run particularly poorly, and California is one of them. And so, unfortunately, now they're kind of reaping of what they've sown here in terms of the way they wanted to run their state. And only until they change things, things won't get any better.